I want you to imagine that you go on a climbing trip down to Moab and you find this really cool campsite where there's this wall, and on the wall there's all sorts of like stick figures and like pictures of animals like all carved into the rock. Clearly it's been there for quite a while. So
what would you do?
Enjoy the piece of history and try to preserve it? Or do you decide to put a bolt line going straight up it? Well, unfortunately, recently, someone chose the latter.
Oh, come on!
And now, on this ancient petroglyph site, there's permanent damage because some jackass thought it would be a good idea to fucking bolt this 5'3", a 5'3". It's not even like a legitimate climb. What's going through this guy's mind that makes him think that it's a good idea to put bolts right on top of this historical site?
Now that's a lot of damage!
You can get in big trouble for those types of things. Look at that. There's like 2 pictures of people carved in, and then there's a bolt right there. And the big issue with this is that this one person's actions have now painted a bad image for the whole entire climbing community, which is kind of just selfish and not cool.
Order! 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 Are you guilty? Order! Are you the plaintiff? Order! 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 Are you? Where's the jury? You're all guilty! You're locking you up! I'm locking you up!
He did apologize, but you can't apologize for being an idiot. It's just don't be an idiot, all right? Now really all that can be done now is that the bolts can be removed and hopefully the holes that it left behind can be filled up, so for the most part it's not recognizable that it's been bolted anymore. But I feel like the main thing is that we gotta learn a lesson from this so it doesn't happen again. Especially with a lot of new climbers coming to the sport, it's important that we set a good example for the next generation of climbers. This whole situation raises a question. When is it okay to bolt and when is it not okay to bolt? And this has been an ongoing debate in the climbing community. If I want to put it simply, in my opinion, bolts should be used as a tool that can make something that otherwise wasn't climbable now climbable, or something that was previously way too dangerous to climb because there was very little opportunities to protect it, to make something like that possible and more accessible to the community. If the first ascensionists did the climb without using bolts, that is definitely something to keep in mind because it's important to respect the person who made the route in the first place. I want to look at some examples. Example of a time someone bolted something that probably shouldn't have been bolted is a local climb by me in Salt Lake City called Outside Corner. To put it into context, Outside Corner is a super classic traditional climb that doesn't really require any sort of bolts because it protects super well with trad gear, and there's a walk off, so there's no need for anchors to rappel off the climb. Despite bolts being completely unnecessary, someone thought it'd be a good idea to put 2 bolts right on top, and in addition to that, a nice little memoriam plaque.
No, God! No, God, please, no!
This does not have to be there. And what do you think happened? Chopped. I'm sorry that your Uncle Joe died, but you gotta save stuff like this for his gravestone and not the top of a super classic, highly trafficked climb. We could also look at the other side of this issue, where people are going too far and they're chopping bolts when these bolts shouldn't be chopped. So one example is that there's this crag in Red Rock called Suburban Crag, and It's an all sport climb, which means that the whole entire climbing area is fully bolted. Some jackass thinks that it's a good idea to go to Suburban Crag and chop some bolts. There's no reason to be chopping bolts at a well-developed sports crag. This issue really goes to the extreme. Like, look at this picture right here. I hope you die of cancer right by a chopped bolt. That is so inappropriate. We gotta remember that we're all climbers here. We're literally attacking our own community. We gotta be respectful to each other and not write shit like that on the wall. Or, here, look at this picture. You cunt. Seriously? Give a child a chisel and then he's gonna go chop all the bolts at your local climbing gym. So that's how I feel about bolts. I could honestly talk about this issue forever, but those are some examples that I got a kick out of. I'm sorry that I haven't been posting that much. I'm sure you noticed that I'm filming in a new place. I got a new apartment and I'm hoping to give it some climbing pizzazz so it looks dope. Anyone that dislikes this video likes to bolt petroglyphs. Alright, thanks guys. See you next time.